Hi Vicky, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to walk you through some of these items in your email and also kind of hit some of these features of your site, kind of a bird's eye overview of things. I had forgotten that you were already kind of familiar with Divi, so I'll kind of skip the basics since you already kind of have a good grasp of things and have already been in there making changes. But if I see anything as I come across it, I'll just kind of point it out. But let's start with the testimonial slider. I think you had a question about formatting on that. It is a little bit custom here, just so we could try to achieve, that smaller font size there, like you were wanting. So let me show you how to replicate what we're doing here. So if you go over to Pages and Home, and we'll scroll down to Testimonial Slider. What I would probably recommend you do is just clone one of the existing ones that is formatted correctly. I think you said you deleted the one that you had. I can't remember, but you can clone that one and then open up that version. You can rename that tab this way, John Doe, and then if you scroll back up, make sure you're on the text tab. So you may have been trying to edit this in visual and it just looks a little funky. So make sure you're on the text, and once you kind of see and get used to what you're looking at here, I'll try to explain kind of why we did it this way. But if you look here, all you want to look for really is the actual text itself. So anything between some of the code. So this is what you want to edit. So you can just literally, between the quotes, copy and paste your testimonial or type it in, or however you're doing it, right in between those two quotes, as you can see there. And same goes for the attribution. That's down here, starting with a dash. And again, you can just copy and paste your text there or type it in, and that will hold the formatting. You can see we've got some classes and special things going on to format that correctly the way you're wanting. So that's the way I would do it, and just to keep things consistent. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. But that's probably what was going on. If you were in the visual tab and tried to make some changes, it probably erased some of these classes that were needed to make that work. So, and then once you're done, you can hit save and save and exit, and then save to make the changes. You seem like you already know what you're doing there. So most of our clients have not used Divi and are not quite familiar with how to open modules and things of that nature and what it can do. It seems like you're already pretty savvy with that, so I will skip over that. You've got, just to mention this in case, obviously you've got your two sliders here. If you ever wanted to add additional ones, of course this one is only Marty's main backdrop there. But if you are, I'm not sure how long you've been using Divi, but if you're kind of haven't seen the most recent version, you've got it. So there's a lot of stuff you can do here with these different tabs, adding overlays and all kind of stuff. But to replace the image or add an image, just go over here and click the little gear, go out and either drag and drop an image right onto your screen or select one of your existing ones or whatever you want to do. That's how to swap out a slider image. And again, probably as you're adding additional things like slides or where it's kind of already formatted, you can just hit this little clone button to keep the same formatting. So you'll see, like, as far as positioning of Marty's background image here, you've got it's centered and the image is set to cover, so it always spans the width of the browser, and we don't want it to repeat. That would look a little funky on some larger screens where maybe extend past the size of the image. So some of these settings, so you don't have to go and manually make sure you have everything correct. You can just hit that little clone and it'll do it all for you. And of course the second slide has got a little bit more going on. So you've got your heading text and your button text, and you'll see again we've got some custom styling here to pull off that this little scripty font at the top, and then all the other text below it. So again, you've got kind of a different positioning there of that image to make that work a little better. So hopefully that makes sense, and as to why we did it the way we did it. And just like I said, hit that clone button. That'll save you some time and hassle and frustration as you're maybe adding additional stuff. Let's see, homepage. I'm pretty sure that is about it as far as things you wouldn't necessarily know. This will automatically rotate out as you add new blogs. Right now, just showing the latest, and it'll link out to it. This also links to your blog page. And this is another slider function here. This one's a little bit easier, but again, you can hit clone and just simply replace your image here. So what we did, cloning is probably the way to go there, because you've got that verse that appears on top of all of them. Even though it looks like it's not changing, it looks like it's static, but this is actually applied to each slide so that it, there's not a gap there. So I think that's pretty much it on that. And of course, all of your opt-ins go right to ConvertKit. You set those up. A lot of this stuff is just automated, so it will handle the way it's supposed to. I'm thinking about, I'm trying to remember if there's something on the About page. Again, I tried to label everything, all these sections, so you know what's what, where you can go in there and, if you ever wanted to swap out pictures or whatever. About is kind of like that too. So it's kind of a longer page. We tried to label everything where you know where it is, and some of these we just didn't get to for sake of time, but like your collage image there, just easy. Once you open those up, you can see where to replace the images and text. That's pretty self-explanatory there. Now, as far as, let me skip down to your galleries question. Right now they are set to show a max of 100. So let me open up one of those gallery pages, and I'll show you where to make that change to if you ever need to. So this is fireworks. Okay, then we'll scroll down to the gallery, and you can always bump this number up if you want, but it should show like little arrows or whatever, so you can go, you have some pagination there to flip. But honestly, I think it would be better just to always, if you think you're going to have more, just bump this number up to 200 or whatever you want, and people can just scroll to keep looking through all the pictures you've got in your gallery. That's what I would do. And then as far as, I think you asked about if you add an image, if it would have to show at the bottom. It doesn't. All you have to do is, again, just drag and drop your image into the gallery. It'll upload it, and then you can literally just kind of move these around as you want to, and it will put it in whatever order that you have set. So obviously you've got a ton here, but these are all just in the order that you gave me. But you just literally just drag and drop, and it will change the order for you. And then always just hit save and exit when you're done making changes. And I believe that covers that. Next was the tweetable quote. I believe that was on what's in a name. And again, I'm always working in the text tab. When you're writing, it's a little easier to work in the visual tab. Just makes it a little easier on your eyes. But when you need to copy this little short code for the tweet, which maybe I got the wrong blog. I forget which one this is on. is. So yes, same kind of deal as like your testimonials. You can just copy this little short code and just replace the text that appears between the quotes. That's what's going to show up in the actual, on the front end when you open up the blog post. It's kind of long. There we go. So it's only going to show what's between the quotes there. And you can literally put this little code anywhere you want to on your site, and it's going to do the same layout, functionality, design for the tweetable quote. I think that was the only place we needed it on so far, so that's where I put it. So hopefully that makes sense. As far as the plugin we used for this, I think you were asking about that too. It's just this better click to tweet. There's nothing you have to do with it. We're going to maintain your plugins for you as part of your monthly deal. But that's literally all you have to do with this. This little plugin is what's making this functionality work. So when you click, it automatically loads all that stuff and helps display it in this way too. It's just kind of a plugin that runs by itself and does everything for you. We've got several things working behind the scenes kind of like that. So hopefully that makes sense. And I believe you're asking about the menu highlight color. I think you mean like when you're hovering over these main navigation links. Just let me know what color you would like for that. That's you probably saw this under Divi Theme Customizer. There's a ton of options that you can set, but hover I don't believe is one of them unless they've added it recently. No, they haven't. So just let me know what color you would like for the hover on your menus. If you meant highlight color as in like what page you're on, the page indicator color. So right now I think you told me to change it to blue. Let me know if you want a different color there, but that I believe that is set under active link color in the primary menu bar, and also under fixed navigation, the active primary menu link color. So those two places are what you want, because fixed navigation is, once you're scrolling this bar here, and then the primary is when you're back up at the top, that active link color. So that's where you want to set if you want to change that blue out to something else. And let's see here. I think that covers everything on your email. Sorry, just thinking, my mind is a bit fried after this week. Let me just briefly go over your e-commerce stuff. It's like, again, it's going to be kind of automated since you guys are just doing a digital PDF, not actually shipping out anything. But if you ever want to edit your product page, let me just open that up so you can see what it looks like. So if you ever want to change this text or anything about, maybe your picture or whatever, that is under products, and then joining forces. So I'll just go over some of this a little briefly here. So you've got obviously your title, the text that appears below the title, and the price and all that. That is coming from this product short description, and you don't necessarily need to be in the text tab for that, but you can see all the text included here, and this is where you would update it as needed. And of course, this is your file that people are able to download once they buy it. This is your price. If you ever want to mark it on sale or whatever, you can do it there too. And the rest of this you don't really need to mess with. This is usually for physical products that you're shipping out, and it gets a lot more entailed. So if you ever need that kind of stuff, just let me know if you ever add products or whatnot. we can deal with that once we get there. And I believe ConvertKit's already integrated with that as well. So the person you hired took care of that one. And I mean, honestly, that is probably it as far as e-commerce goes. It's just going to kind of run itself. So you will get a notification once somebody places an order. Let me check here just to make sure that's going to your email address. Nobody has bought anything yet. But let me change. I will change these recipient emails to you instead of me. Forgot to do that. I will take care of that. And as far as everything else, I think that's it. I mean, you're already kind of a step ahead than most of our clients that are maybe new to Divi or new to WordPress and everything in between. So if you have any detailed questions as you're kind of going along and getting familiarized with the site, just let me know, and we can deal with them on a case by case. And also our new support email address, you might have gotten an email about that. It's going to be support@gruffygoat.com, and either myself or Will be glad to help you out with any questions you've got going forward. But I think you guys are in a good place. The last thing you had asked is about the analytics. We have set all that up for you. I will send you a separate invite to be able to view the Google Analytics. You've got a plugin here that is going to be tracking all that stuff for you. It'll show you some stats, I believe, on the dashboard. So when you load up the dashboard, yes, below here, you can kind of see some things, but it's not very descriptive here. So you can really dive into your Google Analytics reports once you are able to access those. And again, I'll send you a separate email for that. But as far as learning how to do the stats and about Yoast is, I think, another thing you asked about. It kind of just, like I said, it runs itself. I mean, you can get in the weeds a bit with some of that, either analytics or Yoast. But let me know if you have any detailed questions about that. That is not. It's kind of a different specialty that you're getting into the SEO world, and that's not something I do. But that is definitely something Will could help you with if you have any detailed questions about that. And we can get you some answers there and point you in the right direction. But I believe once you're able to access the Google Analytics reports, you can kind of play around with it. You can't mess anything up, but you can kind of drill down and see who's accessing your site from where and get all those specific stats. And Yoast, you don't really need to worry about unless you're doing some SEO optimization. And that's a whole nother can of worms that I didn't want to get into here, but let us know if you're ever interested in something like that. That is something Will does provide for us, a service we provide, and we can get you a quote on that. Very reasonable, and it's it's well worth the money, to be honest. So if that's of interest to you, let us know. But hopefully that all this points you in the right direction. Sorry to keep rambling on, but if you have any questions, just let us know. And thanks again for working with us, and we're glad your website's live. It looks great, and thanks for all your help with that and your patience as we work through the issues. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.